Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'm here. I don't know if there's going to be anybody that is going to watch this, but I have kind of a lonely Christmas this year. And so I just thought it would be fun to chat for a little bit this morning and see how you were all doing and just put some reviews out there that I haven't had a chance to transfer over from the movie show. And so that's part of the thought as well. And just kind of talk a little bit about end of the year things. I'm still going to do my traditional end of the year videos that I always do. But look at this. There's people on, which I can't believe it. Um, so we have Jeremiah. He says, "It's here. It's finally here. The one and only best day of the year. It's Christmas. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas," which is so fun. And then he says, "Merry Christmas, Rachel. I hope it's full of presents, family, and hot cocoa." So I am going to go up and see my parents. My mom isn't feeling the best. And we're actually not really doing Christmas until Sunday when my sister and her family are going to be in town. So that's why it's kind of a little bit of a more chill Christmas. But it's kind of an interesting situation for me because I have all of this Christmas. And then once the homework season is done, which the last movie was on Sunday, then it's kind of, there's really nothing, hardly anything. I did see the Nutcracker on Monday, so there was that. But um, I'm it's pretty much done the actual week of Christmas, which is kind of interesting. You would think that would be the peak week, but that's really not the case. And my hair's still wet, so it's this kind of live stream this is gonna be. So I hope y'all enjoy it. So we have, and then Animation Fanboy saying, "Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you. I hope that you all are having a nice day. And even if you are alone at Christmas, you can still have a nice day and enjoy yourself. So maybe that's what I can share with the world." Okay, well, yeah, so that's basically what my month has been. Of course, I've been very busy working at the KSL movie show, which has been so exciting for me. So much fun. I love it so much. And we did actually 5 business days in a row. So we had a Thursday show, a Friday show, and then we had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday show, which is amazing, for me. I don't know how the co-host Andy, how he does it, because he's got so much more on his plate than I do. He has 6 kids, and he does the morning show, which he has to be up at 2:30 in the morning for. So I don't know how he does those weeks. That's intense, but it's a privilege, and I would encourage you to go check it out. Look up KSL Movie Show and they have all the episodes on the podcast, and I just think it's really fun and a really good show, and I'm learning so much about live radio, and that's been awesome. It was really cool. Yesterday, I got to actually be in the studio and be working my soundboard, which I had never done before. So that was super cool and fun to learn a new skill. And I think it did. You have to listen to it and let me know what you think, how you think it sounded. But I think it was pretty good. It sounded pretty good. So there we go. One exciting thing that happened yesterday is I crossed the 500 movies for 2025 mark. That's how many I've watched, both new and old, including TV movies, including everything. 500. So that's pretty good. It's probably somewhat sick and twisted, but hey, that's the life I've chosen, right? 500 movies, and I saw 200 live, over 200 live theatricals. I think I'll end up with like 205, I think, something like that. So concerts, plays, musicals, live performance. I saw over 200 this year and reviewed almost all of those movies I reviewed, and almost all of those live performances are also reviewed in one form or another. So that's pretty good. I don't know if the world needs that much reviews from me, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, there we go. I don't know if there's some kind of. I know there is a world record for the most movies seen in theaters. I think it's something like 700 and something that somebody saw in theaters, which is very intense. That would be incredible. I saw in the theater. I might catch maybe one or two more before in the next week, but right now I'm at 163 movies seen in the theater. So, not 733, but I think that's pretty good. 63. And I'm very excited because this year, one thing that helped me, and the one thing that helped me this year is that I was able to go to the various film festivals. So I was able to kind of stockpile movies and watch a whole bunch all in one time, which then that allowed me to be able to still do my theater and go to theater, and I didn't have to worry about as many screenings because I had seen the movies either at Sundance or TIFF, and like and so like I was able to do that. Like I didn't have to go to the Eternity screening, I didn't have to go to the Rental Family screening, I didn't have to go to the Hamnet screening. I'd already seen all of those movies, so I was able to go to a theater show those nights because I went to the festivals. And so that's something I'm going to try to do in 2026 as well. I already am approved for full press for Sundance, which is super exciting, the last one in Utah. And then I'm also fully approved for South by Southwest. So I will be attending that this year. And then I'll do either New York Film Festival or TIFF, one or the other. They're basically the same. They have basically the same lineups. So yeah, that would be fun. I mean, the TIFF was really a good experience, and I do have a lot of friends who go to TIFF, so that's kind of fun to hang out with Monda and Larry, and Elise was there this year, so that's really fun to connect with people. And I was able to just be focused on movies at TIFF, which was good. But the advantage of New York Film Festival is that I would be able to do some Broadway while I was there, which would be good, to be able to, for Onstage Blog, for my theater work, to be able to sort of watch a bunch of Broadway shows, because I haven't been to Broadway in over a year, which is not good for like a working theater critic. I should have, but I just couldn't afford it this year, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. But anyway, that's sort of my plan. Also, the last time I applied to New York Film Festival, I didn't get accepted, which was very surprising. And New York Film Festival is also really long. It's over 2 weeks of screenings. So you kind of have to pick if you don't live there. So that's great for the people that live there. But if you don't live there, you kind of have to pick a group. And so that's kind of challenging compared to TIFF. TIFF's shorter than New York Film Festival. And I think New York Film Festival is kind of designed for the critics who live there, which makes sense. But it's fun. I mean, I've done New York Film Festival, I think 3 times. Now I've just done TIFF the one time. But the last time I applied for New York Film Festival, I didn't get in, which was very weird. But hopefully I would get in this time if I tried. So anyway, that's just kind of a preview into 2026 of what to expect. But it's something that has helped me a lot to be able to do as much as I have done, is because I went to the festivals. Okay. Sick and Twisted or not, congratulations. Watching 500 movies shows some incredible dedication. That's a lot of reviews as well. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, and your support means a lot to me. I can't say enough how much I appreciate your support, no matter what. It's amazing. So let's dive in and just talk about some of these. So I saw Anaconda yesterday afternoon. And this is the one they like hid from us, but it was so frustrating because I felt like every single YouTuber had posted their reviews. I was like, what's the deal? Sony told me specifically that they weren't giving any early screeners to Salt Lake Press. And why? I have no idea. Like, um, and I feel like I was open, even though they were rude about that. I still feel like I was open to the film. I didn't go in with a chip on my shoulder. I like Minecraft. I'm not like a comedy snob. I really am not. Like, and this year's been such a good year for comedy. I loved the Naked Gun. That's one of my favorite movies of the year. Spoiler alert to my favorite list. But I loved The Naked Gun. I thought that was so funny. I really liked very R-rated movie called Splitsville, but it was very funny. In particular, there is a scene at an amusement park in Splitsville that is absolutely hilarious. That's worth watching for that one scene alone. But it is very R-rated, including a lot of nudity. So not for the faint of heart, but very funny. And then Fackham Hall was also pretty funny. I really did enjoy it quite a bit and it had some very funny gags. And so I feel like I was ready to enjoy this. And it just was boring. That's the main problem with the movie. Like, I like the chemistry between the two, Paul Rudd and Jack Black. I like a friendship story. That was nice. So if I was watching it, if this was a Netflix movie, I probably would be a little more forgiving because I could be doing other stuff and, like, then it probably would get a slightly higher grade, but it just wasn't very funny. That was the main problem. Like, they're trying to poke all these jokes about the movie making industry and movies in general, but it just wasn't that funny. Like, the jokes didn't make me laugh. And so I don't know, I just found it kind of boring. And that's the problem with the movie. So let's see here. Better You Than Me. I saw that Anaconda trailer, and that's enough time taken out of my life for that movie. Nothing about that trailer was funny. Love both the lead actors. The script looks like junk. I don't know. I actually thought there was some potential. Like, they could have gone like really meta for the movie. And, I don't know. I saw the trailer and was like, oh, maybe that will be funny. Comes down to writing, that it always does with any film. So it just was boring. It just was. So that's too bad. Okay, so then I have been catching up on some Christmas movies. So I have Christmas with the Knightleys. This was on Up TV. This one I honestly fell asleep. This one was also pretty boring. It was like a fake dating story, which I do love those fake dating stories, but it just didn't do much for me. We had a Christmas cookbook. This was on Lifetime. I really liked the leads, but this one was pretty bland. And then a Pickleball Christmas, and this one is barely Christmas. Like, they mention it maybe a couple times, but it was actually fun. Like, the two had pretty good chemistry, and there was like a sexy sort of dynamic. There's quite a bit of kissing for one of these kind of movies. This is on Lifetime. For one of these kind of movies. It's about this tennis star who's like the big tennis rebel, and he retires. So he goes back to the hometown, and his tennis club, whatever, has been turned into a pickleball club. And he's like offended by that. But then the pickleball girl, leader, whatever you call her, she's pretty feisty. So she wins him over to pickleball by the end. And when I first heard about this movie, I laughed and laughed because my friend Conrado, he hates pickleball. So I sent him the poster. I was like, "It's the perfect movie for you, Christmas movie for you." So that was very funny to me. But it actually wasn't awful. It was fun, like, for what it is, you know? Okay, so Christmas Roses. This is a locally made film here in Utah. It's very faith-based. It's about this little girl who's played by Rosie Darling, and she is an absolutely adorable little girl. I do think that if her parents, I mean, they're trying to get her roles and stuff, and if the right casting director finds her, I think she could be very, very popular in Hollywood if they want to go that, route, because she is really cute. And so this movie, she decides to kind of adopt this curmudgeonly woman as her grandma, who's not interested in being her grandma, but she's just like determined. And her mom's a single mom. And of course, there's this like hunky pastor who's conveniently single who helps them. And some of the acting is not the best in this, and it's very low budget, but it was cute enough for what it is. And then you all will be very impressed with me. I think you'll be amazed. I watched the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. So, um, so yes, I watched it on the recommendation of two friends, including Sean Chandler, who said they thought I could handle it. And they were right. I could handle it. It is very bloody, of course, as you expect. But it actually, I mean, boy, so it's about this kid who becomes a serial killer after seeing his parents getting murdered by Santa Claus. And um, so every day he has an advent calendar, and every day he commits a murder. That's the advent calendar for Christmas. And it's pretty gruesome. But there is a love story with it. And I don't know if they can really redeem. I mean, like they try to make him sort of a mercenary in the sense that most of these people that he murders are like bad people, but it's a lot. But it is what it is. It's a slasher movie. That's what it's supposed to do, And they try to create like a compelling, interesting, layered character, and they make things over the top. And it's not scary because I have no fear that this is actually going to happen to me in my life. Like this is over the top and ridiculous. So yeah, it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I think I for what it's trying to be, for who it's trying to please, I think it's well done. So there you go. Okay, another completely opposite Christmas movie is Goodbye June, and this is on Netflix. This is directed by Kate Winslet, her first movie that she's directed, and so she directed it because her son Joe Anders wrote it. And it's a very sweet little movie. It's a little overlong, but it's nice. It's about Helen Mirren plays the matriarch of the family, and she's sick, I think cancer or something like that. And she gathers her children together for one last Christmas in the hospital. And you've got Johnny Flynn, who I love Johnny Flynn. You've got Kate Winslet, you've got Toni Collette in here, Andrea Riseborough. So this incredible cast all had, I think, good chemistry. I bought them as siblings, as family together. Like it was believable to me that they were all related. And so I think she succeeded as a director on that level. It's just a sweet, nice little family movie. So maybe after you watch Silent Night, Deadly Night, then watch Goodbye June. and you'll have everything balance out. Great. Okay. So I finished all of the Hallmark movies for this season. So I ended up right now, I think I have 60 total Christmas movies watched for this season, which is actually a lot less than I usually have because usually Hallmark has a lot more movies. This year they only had 24 movies instead of 41, which is what they had last year. But it wasn't necessarily that much less work for me because they had a limited series called The 12 Dates Till Christmas. Plus, they had another series called The Mistletoe Murders Season 2. So there were two series to cover. Plus, they had two reality shows, Finding Mr. Christmas Season 2 and Baked with Love. And so it really was about the same as far as content I had to cover, but just as far as movies, that's why it's lower this year than it was last year. But nevertheless, I think that they had a pretty good batch of 24 movies plus the series. I really loved the series 12 Dates Till Christmas. This is with Mae Whitman, who I really enjoy. And it was a Friends to Lovers arc, which I love. Of all of the arcs, of the tropes of rom-coms, that's probably my favorite is Friends to Lovers. It's just so good because you get such tension because like saying anything is such a risk. If you put it out there that you're in love with your friend, that's it. It's over. Like if it doesn't work out, like how do you come back from that? It's pretty hard. And so it's such a risk to put it out there, but eventually you have to, but it builds that tension so well. It's so good. And so, yeah. I mean, that's what part of what makes Jane Austen like the master is that she perfected, I don't know if she invented, I don't know really romance writing aside from Shakespeare before her, and he certainly did a lot of these tropes as well. You have enemies to lovers in Much Ado About Nothing, for instance. And so you had some before her, but she really mastered, certainly in novel form, the archetypes. So you have enemies to lovers, of course, with Pride and Prejudice. You have friends to lovers with Emma. And then you have second chance romance with Persuasion. So she crushed it on all three of those levels. And those are her three best books. And I enjoy the other ones, but I think it's pretty much universally agreed those are the three best ones. So anyway, I can't even remember why I started talking about Jane Austen, but she's the best. Merry Christmas. So speaking of Jane Austen, I did get to see Sense and Sensibility on the big screen with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet, and it just was wonderful. I love it so much. The music is so good. The performances are so good. Like, yes, Emma Thompson is too old for that role of Eleanor, but it's fine. She's so good in it, and when she ugly cries at the end, it's so good. It's probably in my top 5 cries of movies ever. Is her crying because you never see it in movies where people ugly cry, where people cry like you do in real life. You never see that in the movies, and she does it, and I love her for it. She is such a good actress, unbelievable, and a good writer. I mean, she adapted that movie, and so great. So let's talk about some more. So there's a movie called A Magnificent Life. And this is an animated film. You'll see it in my animated ranking. And I did record next week. You're all going to be so excited. I recorded 2025 animation ranking and look back with Animat that's going to post next week. It's over 2 hours long. It's really long, but hey, if Joe Rogan can do, over 3 hour podcasts, I can do over 2 hour podcasts with my friends. But anyway, Magnificent Life. I was really excited for this movie because Sylvain Chimay, he's great. I mean, I love Trumpets of Belleville, especially, and I love Marcel Pagnol. My my mother's glory, my father's castle. I think that I might be getting them confused, but anyway, I love those movies about Marcel Pagnol. And then he was playwright, writer, and so I thought Sylvain Chimay doing a movie about Marcel Pagnol, that just seems like that's going to be amazing. But the problem is that they got kind of lost in business. I think that they think that that's more interesting to the average person than it actually is. I mean, I think that it's cool the result of said business, but a lot of this movie is people talking about like the nuts and bolts of getting the deals done for making these various films. And it's just kind of boring. There's just not a lot of like whimsy or magic in Magnificent Life. It's a lot of business. I don't know. It was disappointing. It just was not a good script. So that was frustrating. Let's see here. I never thought about that with Jane Austen. Of course, I knew she's perfect the romance, but I never thought about her doing all three of those tropes we love so much now. Yeah, it's totally a thing, which is very interesting. Very interesting. See, Donald Sutherland was born to play Mr. Bennet. Yeah, that's true. He's very good. Yeah, in that. I mean, I really like that whole cast in the 2005. And I appreciate that 2005 has a whole new approach it's a little rushed. Like they clip along with those plot beats a little too fast. It's not perfect, but I really do enjoy it. And it's certainly beautifully made, beautifully done. And I like the fact they kind of went with a shy, sort of awkward version of Darcy. Because you can't do the Colin Firth. Like, that's already been done. Like, you're just going to be compared to it. So you got to take a new approach, right? And so I think that's what they did. And I appreciate it. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what the Netflix, I think it's a series. I could be wrong on that they're doing next year for 2026. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I cannot understand why they don't do Northanger Abbey. I don't understand it. There's only been one adaptation of Northanger Abbey. I'm not even talking about new. I'm talking about all times. And there's not even like I think there was some for like the BBC and something like. But as far as like in America, there has only been one, and even actually the one I'm talking about is definitely BBC. But I'm just saying, there's only been one. There has not been any other feature films. Like there's not like versions from the 1940s or anything like that. No. And it just seems like the easiest one to do of all of them. Like it's got sort of your gothic elements and your spooky elements. You could have like so much fun with it. I cannot understand why Hollywood doesn't, but they just keep remaking Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility and Persuasion. And why don't they make Northanger Abbey? I don't know. I don't know. There's been more versions of Mansfield Park which is bonkers, than Northanger Abbey. I don't understand. So I watched a movie called Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. This is from director Jim Jarmusch. And he's one of those directors you either know if you're on his wavelength or you're not. And I am not. I haven't liked really any of his movies. His movie, The Dead Don't Die, is one of my like least favorite movies I think I've ever seen. It was terrible. And so yeah, he's just not for me. And it's so frustrating because he has this incredible cast with Adam Driver, Charlotte Rampling, Cate Blanchett, Vicky Krieps, this great cast, but he gives them nothing to do. I mean, and so you're relying on this banter, this conversation. It tells three different stories, and you're relying on this banter to entertain you because there's nothing. It's literally just people talking, which is fine. That can be good, but they're given nothing interesting to say. I mean, it was just, I don't know. There's some people on Letterboxd who are raving. My friend Katie absolutely loved it. So, to each their own. But I was just like, what is this movie? Why? I have no idea. I got to see Elf. We had a dine and watch event. So there was food themed to the movie. They didn't go like hardcore. Like we just had spaghetti as opposed to like spaghetti with maple, things like that. But it was a lot of fun, and it's just a very funny movie. I think it holds up quite well. And I think what works the best about it is that everybody plays it straight. Everybody. Like James Caan never cracks a smile, which works for the character. That just makes you laugh because, and of course, Will Ferrell's completely going for it. And he's so big. Like, I guess they were originally thinking of having Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey is like pretty tall, but it's just there's something so like big about Will Ferrell that like up against the elves, like that, it just makes it more funny, Some perfect casting. So that was fun. I also saw a movie, this is on Netflix, called The Great Flood. And this is something that I have told people on KSL Movie Show, and I've mentioned it here on this podcast, or on this channel, is make sure if you're watching a foreign film on Netflix, make sure you turn off the AI dubbing because it's terrible. It sounds like robots. Don't do it. Watch it in the original language with the subtitles. I mean, The Great Flood, it doesn't matter that much because there isn't tons of dialogue in this movie, but still, I mean, just why do you want to have robots? Like, terrible. Don't do it. But The Great Flood, it's very frustrating because the first 20 minutes were completely riveting, like so good. I would honestly just say, just watch the first 20 minutes because then it just repeats itself again and then takes this like sci-fi thing that didn't work hardly at all. But man, that first 20 minutes was so good. So it starts out with her, she's asleep. Her little boy wakes her up and says, Mom, the apartment is a swimming pool. And the house is a swimming pool. And she steps out and it's flooded, completely flooded. And there's this huge tsunami that's happened. And so she has to all of a sudden go and save her little boy and get out of the apartment. And it was riveting, that first 20 minutes. But it's so bizarre. They end up going this really strange sci-fi route where she ends up in space. And so it was frustrating, but that first 20 minutes is outstanding. Okay, so I watched The Abyss for the first time, and this movie is I really liked it better at the beginning. Not as strongly a contrast as the Great Flood, but before the water creature appears, and it was like an unknown entity, I think it was a lot more effective and chilling. But it's still like entertaining enough. Like James Cameron, he hasn't made like an awful movie, in my opinion. There's ones that I like better than others, like this recent Avatar movie I thought was a bit disappointing, but he hasn't made an awful movie, and he certainly hasn't made an awful looking movie of his 10 films. So that's very impressive. Not many directors can say that. So way to go there. So it's fun to check this one off of the list. And then The Housemaid. So I thought The Housemaid. Housemaid, it feels, I know it's based on a book, but it feels like they took a Lifetime original thriller and then adapted it as a feature film. It is too long. How long is this thing? 131 minutes. That's too long. I wish that some of these movies would learn from Hallmark and Lifetime movies. 84 minutes. That's the sweet spot. Like, yes, you need to maybe be a tad longer to be a feature film. But like, you can get in there at like 98 minutes. This would have been better in like 98 minutes. But still, it's pretty fun. This is campy. It's over the top. both of the actresses know the assignment. They know why they're there, and they camp it up. They It gets very unhinged. The last 30 minutes get unhinged, and that was fun, I thought. It's about so Amanda Seyfried hires Sydney Sweeney, and she seems like a normal suburban, Real Housewife type person, and it turns out like she's wild and crazy and erratic and manipulative, and but there's like a secret why. There's a motivation why she's behaving this way. So I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. So there we go. Okay. Let's see here. What else? So I saw the new SpongeBob, and I actually thought it was very sweet. I think that a lot of times I forget that SpongeBob is like little. And they did a good job in this movie of portraying him as like a little sponge. Little sponge. Because he's just finally grown up so that he's tall enough to ride this roller coaster, but he's scared to ride the roller coaster. And so he goes on this quest to be more brave and win the swashbuckler certification, which I thought was nice. It was sweet. It's not amazing, but it was a nice little movie, I thought. I saw How the Grinch Stole Christmas re-release, and this was interesting because I hadn't seen it in like 20 years. It's been a long time. And I do think the first hour is kind of a slog in that it's just all of the Who's are so unlikable and all the adult humor. I don't think it really works. But once it gets to the second act, it's pretty much just then becomes the book, and it works much better because you got your story. But it becomes hard to accept the Who's that they're going to be singing because they've been so miserable the rest of this movie, to buy that ending in the book. But I did walk away sort of feeling like, well, at least this has personality. At least this has, because so many family films that you see nowadays have no personality. And even the animated Grinch, I would say, didn't really have much personality. It was pretty bland. And at least this it's weird, it's different, there's strangeness to it. So I give it credit for that at least it feels unique, which is good. So, and I can't remember. Sorry if I'm repeating myself from other live streams. I apologize. But I think that catches everything up as far as what I've been watching. As far as some of my favorites, I'll give you a little peek into my videos coming up. But my best movies of 2025 basically go like this. I have Sentimental Value at number 1. Is This Thing On at number 2, which I seem to like way more than most people. So go figure. I really thought it was a lovely depiction of marriage and navigating a breakup, using humor to navigate a breakup. I really liked it. 3 is Sorry Baby, another movie about somebody navigating trauma with a little bit of humor. And I think that's something I've really been that's really appealed to me this year is movies that have like that little bit of humor to them. I've just been in the mood for comedies, I guess, in one way or another. Oh yeah, here, Jeremiah. What were they thinking? Cindy Lou Who is cute, Carrie's passionate, but overall kind of a mess. Yeah. I mean, it's just a bad idea to make a feature film out of that short little book. It just doesn't work. They've tried it with all the different Seuss things, and it just doesn't work. Doesn't work. So then I have at number 4, I have The Naked Gun. Again, another comedy that I loved. And I would have as my number 1, I would have Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, but it doesn't come out until February. But I saw it twice at festivals. That's how much I loved it. And I hope I'm not overhyping it, but I really did enjoy it. So I hope that you all get a chance to see it and that you all have fun with it as I did. Then at number 5, I have Kiss of the Spider Woman. This was a huge flop, but I really enjoyed it. I saw it at Sundance, and I really liked the dual story. So you have these prisoners, and the one prisoner is telling the story of his favorite old school Hollywood movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman. And as he's telling the story, then the movie comes alive. So you have these like two distinct parts of the film. You have the old school Hollywood movie, that's the one where Jennifer Lopez is. And then you have these two prisoners that make a connection. And I like both parts. I can see why it wouldn't be for everybody, but I and it was nice too because this is a musical that almost nobody knows much about. Like even within like the hardcore Broadway people, most people, it was only on Broadway one time in 1993. People know it because it had Cheetah Rivera in the Jennifer Lopez role, and I think she might have. I think it won a Tony Award. I think she won a Tony, but it's just not a show that people like know the songs for. It's not a show that people know, like Wicked, of course, that people know every beat, most people, even in the Broadway world, have not seen this musical. Most people don't know the songs. Like going into it, I bet most people would not have been able to tell you a single song, even hardcore Broadway people, from Kiss of the Spider Woman. So it was kind of like being introduced to it for the first time. And that was fun to me as a theater fan and as a movie fan. And I just liked the choices that director Bill Condon made. It's very bright, it's very colorful. The cinematography, the choreography, all of that. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. So then I have at 6, I have Eternity. This was really the only rom-com released in theaters this year, which is insane. And it was very clever. So the idea is this afterlife. Miles Teller's character, he dies. And he had been married to Elizabeth Olsen's character for like 50 years. He dies, and then she dies. And she gets there and realizes that not only is Miles Teller there waiting for her in the afterlife, but her first husband, who only lived for 2 years and then died in war, played by Callum Turner, he is also waiting for her. So then she has to decide who she wants to pick to go with to the next realm. And also, like there's kind of like this bidding war. It's like a trade floor, which is fun, of all these different heavens, like pick ours, pick ours, pick ours. We've got like Old West heaven, and we've got like Catholic heaven and stuff like that. And so that was fun. I enjoyed it. So here we go. Kiss of the Spider Woman sounds creative, very nifty that it's a musical. Too bad it bombed. I'm definitely interested in watching it. Yeah, let's see if it's on any of the streamers. Let's see here. Looks like you can rent it, but I wouldn't be surprised if before too long it's on one of the streamers somewhere. But anyway, I liked it. I thought it was cool. And then number 7 is F1. I just thought this was the most fun movie. Well, I mean, Naked Gun was the most fun, but this, as far as like a blockbuster action movie, this was the most fun. It's the only one I saw twice. And I liked the characters. I had a good time with it. I thought Brad Pitt was super charismatic. The racing scenes were really fun. So there we go. Number 8, I have Little Amelie, or the Character of Rain. This is such a cute movie. It's basically about this little girl, and her basically her like nanny, her caretaker, leaves, and she's very upset. And it literally starts with this little girl as like a cell, and then goes through all the way to her being this little girl and how much she loves her nanny. And she's a, I think, Belgian or French little girl in Japan. And that does become a plot element. And it's just about how much the people that love us when we're little matter to us. Which who can't relate to that, right? It's very sweet, beautifully animated, very nice movie. So, yeah. Number 9 is where I have Secret Mall Apartment. This is super fun. This is a documentary about these artists who are really upset about the fact that they build this monstrosity of a mall, cement mall in Providence, Rhode Island, I believe. And so they find this sort of alcove in the mall that isn't being used, and sort of as an act of protest, they like build this apartment in the mall for years. They have it. And it was really fun. It was very entertaining. So that was my favorite documentary. I didn't see that many documentaries this year, but that was my favorite. And then The Ballad of Wallace Island. This is such a sweet movie about this man who wins the lottery. He lives on Wallace Island, and he decides that he's going to host a private concert with his favorite singers who used to be a duo, and now they've broken up. And so he's gonna spend his lottery earnings to bring these two people back together, hire them, and so that's what he does. It's very sweet, very funny, and good music. So that is my favorites. So I'll still do like a full video of my favorites of the year, but that's it. That's my favorites. And so I hope you got to see some of them. So Little Amelie sounds absolutely lovely. It is. It is very, very sweet. And it's the one, if there's going to be a flow this year, it's probably the one that will be it, Little Amelie. But this is one of those situations where it just seems like K-pop Demon Hunters is just taking all of the oxygen out of the air. Like, it would be shocking, I think, at this point if it doesn't win Best Animated Film. Best Song is going to be very interesting this year because it's such a good year with the Sinner songs, with K-pop Demon Hunters, with the Wicked songs. It's very competitive this year, which is too bad for David, because I think if it wasn't so competitive that one of those songs from David would have a chance of getting in, because they're actually really good in David. And that was fun. I got to go to the David premiere, got to dress up fancy and all that stuff. So that was fun. Let's talk about some theater that I saw. I keep forgetting to do that in these live streams. So I saw Christmas Carol at Hale with Ruth, and I liked this a lot. It was good, classic Christmas Carol. The only thing that was weird is that the backdrop, they had it kind of like they had all these portraits that were off kilter, and like bookshelves that were triangle shaped, and like everything kind of like that. And so you would think that would mean that, oh, this is going to be like an edgy, trippy, different, adaptation, which would be fine with me. But then it's just like a very basic, standard, well done, entertaining version of Christmas Carol. So I thought the set didn't really match the show. So that would be my only critique, but I did enjoy it. Okay. So then I saw Elf the Musical at Draper Historic. And I appreciate that the guy who was playing Buddy didn't try to just pretend to be Will Ferrell. Like, it was his own energy and his own unique performance. He was a lot. He was very bubbly. but I still enjoyed it. It was nice. The both of the Hobbs characters were actually a married couple in real life, so their chemistry was nice, and the little boy was very cute. When he sings, I think it's called "I Believe in Santa Claus." That song I thought was very well done. So I enjoyed it overall. Then let's see, Elf. Um, so I saw a local show called Star of Wonder, and I really enjoyed this. This was at West Valley Arts, and it tells the story of the Christmas truce. And if you don't know about the Christmas truce, so this was in World War II, and I forget what battle it is, but there is a famous on Christmas Day when the Germans and the English troops had a truce for Christmas. But what's interesting about this play is that it tells that story, especially the first half, but it really focuses more on the post trauma of the surviving soldier and how he's recovering and getting back into life, which is I feel like you don't hear that much about World War II because it was such a noble war, but they still had trauma. They still and and he's supposed to be this like inspirational figure, and he's struggling with that. I thought it was very well done. It was very good. So that was Star of Wonder. And then I saw the Nutcracker at Ballet West. Ballet West is one of the best ballet companies in the world, not just in the United States, in the world. And so we're very fortunate here in Utah to have such an incredible ballet company. I know next to nothing about ballet, so I can't tell you like what's done well, what's done not well. I think and I realize that Nutcracker is very basic ballet, but it was a wonderful production, wonderful spectacle, wonderful music, beautiful, beautiful dancers, cute dancers too, the little kids, the bumblebees and stuff like that. The spectacle, it was great. I had a great time, even though I wasn't feeling the best. So that is everything that I've seen, I think, since the last update. So it hasn't been, I've been so focused because of the movie show and doing 5 episodes in the last 2 weeks that's sort of taken over everything. But I really hope you all listen to that. And if anybody feels like letting them know on their Facebook page, KSL Movie Show, that you really enjoy me on the show, I would super appreciate it. Like the more positive reinforcement they get on that level, the better it will be for me. And the more likely that they'll, want to hire me because that would be a dream come true. I would love it so much and I would be so grateful. So let's see. I know next to nothing about ballet too, but I do love it all the same. Honestly, the only live production I ever see was Nutcracker. Gosh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really, really fun. Very fun. The story is barely there and just an excuse for dancing, but man, I loved it, especially the second act. It's literally just like the princess and the prince watching all of these people perform for them. That's why all of the Nutcracker movies have been terrible because there's like no story. You can't make a movie off of the Nutcracker. Like, and most of it is just a prince and a princess watching people perform. Like, there's nothing there. And I mean, the best one is the Barbie one by far, but it's loose. It's just more about the dancer than it is about the Nutcracker. So, yeah. So there we go. I think that kind of covers everything. I hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas, and I'm amazed that anybody watched this and making your great comments. And I didn't think that anybody would. So That's amazing. I just so am grateful for the support and what an incredible year this has been for me. This has honestly been the most exciting year for me in my professional career. There's so many parts of it that have been incredible. The fact that, of course, the movie show has been the highlight since July to be able to do that. And I've learned so much about live radio and become a better critic. I've had to push myself so much to watch things that I wouldn't normally have watched. Like I watched all the Conjuring movies, I watched the Five Nights at Freddy's, I watched all of these different things that I might have not watched, and that's made me grow as a critic and as a person. And I just, it's been an incredible experience. But then also, like, that I watched over 200 live theatricals, and all of those incredible experiences, seeing people perform, seeing people take a risk and get out there on the stage has been incredible. To write about it, to see that impact their lives has been unbelievable. I've also I've also had over 10K subscribers now on Hallmarkies podcast. Super proud of that. Super excited about it. And so it's just been an amazing year. There's so many memories that I've had, and I'm so grateful. I really am. I don't take any of it for granted. That's for sure. And and I appreciate my followers here at Rachel's Reviews for being so flexible and open to, my completely changing the format of what I'm doing here, of kind of being more new release focused, all of that. I'm very grateful for that and the support, and that you value what I have to say, almost no matter what it is about. Like, that just means a lot to me. So thank you so much. And I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And definitely, if you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out Hallmarkies podcast over there. It's a lot of fun. I think you don't have to be a Hallmark or a listener to enjoy those episodes. They're just entertaining. And also check out the Patreon. It's really a lot of fun. I try to have a monthly activity where you get to talk to a talent and learn, and it's super fun. So and you can listen ad free to every episode of both podcasts on there. So please check out the Patreon. I would really appreciate it. And then I have the merch store, have some fun, cool movie inspired designs. So check that out. And that's everything. Merry Christmas, y'all.